is day 2. We actually go back to the very beginning of the notes, and at the top left, you're going to see prokaryotic cells. They are you're writing what's in blue. They are the simplest cells on Earth. They have no internal membrane-bound organelles. This is why this comes on day 2 and not day 1. You have to know what a nucleus is. There's no nucleus here. Yes, they have DNA, and that's this blue squiggly stuff right here, but it's naked. It doesn't have a covering of a nucleus. They don't have, notice there's no vacuoles in here. There's no mitochondria in here. They don't have any internal membrane-bound organelles like nucleus, mitochondria, vacuole. They do have ribosomes because ribosomes make proteins. Ribosomes are made up of RNA, which is a nucleic acid. There's no membrane there. They are also arranged like a junk drawer. Everything's just kind of floating around in there, and there's no set order like the cells we saw yesterday were. This is another picture, cartoon of a bacterial cell. This one includes a flagella, which we learned yesterday is something similar to this, helps sperm move around. And this one, the brown squiggly stuff is the DNA. The brown circles, little dots, that's the ribosomes, and they still have a cell membrane and a cell wall. Now, this is a ServSafe exam, and you can take culinary classes here in South Central, and they will prepare you for this exam. If you pass it, you get a certificate. Ours would say North Carolina, and you present this to like Burger King or Lemongrass or some restaurant or something you might work in, and they have to pay you more money because you know how to keep bacteria from growing in the food and giving everybody food poisoning so the business doesn't lose all their money and have to close down and you lose a job. So our culinary classes do prepare you to take that exam. Now, to further give you an example of how small prokaryotic cells is, this is a 350 square foot efficiency apartment, or one-room apartment or studio, and it's on sale for $350,000. This is the kitchen, microwave, stove, bathroom. If you want your bed, the bed is on this wall over here. This picture is actually mounted to the wall, and it's a Murphy bed. So there's a handle over here just outside the picture. You pull it down, and then your bed is right here, and then you could actually lay in bed and watch TV. So this is the whole apartment. Okay, the door is over here, 350 square feet. Okay, so they're bacterial cells, like efficiency apartments, are really, really small. Another kind of cell, the only other kind of cell found on planet Earth, is a eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cells are the most advanced cells. This is like the cells that you have. Y-O-U is pronounced the same way as E-U. So you have eukaryotic cells. Notice the nucleus, the mitochondria, there's a bunch of those. You've got a vacuole, you've got ribosome. There's a little ribosome, they don't have it labeled. And then there's a cell membrane, and the yellow stuff is a cell cytoplasm. Okay, they do. Our eukaryotic cells have internal membrane-bound organelles. So it's kind of like the room of your house or this nice little, much better organized drawer than mine. Has every little thing has its own space. So the mitochondria can be making energy. At the same time, the DNA is telling the cell what to do. At the same time as the vacuole stores some food that you've eaten for breakfast. Now, shape and size. This is a picture of bacterial cells. This is a plant cell. So this is where I'm putting my arrow now. That is actually one cell. All those little green circles in there, those are all the chloroplasts that are floating around in the cell. This side, each one of these circles is one cell. So you can see that This cell over here is a lot larger. This has been magnified 10 times. This one's been magnified 10 times, and there actually could be a lot more. Actually, this one's been magnified more than 10 times. This is like 10,000 times. Bacteria, teeny, 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 tiny. So, in your notes, are all cells the same size? No. Okay, they are not the same size. And here's a different cell. This is what our brain cells look like. Only this little fiber here goes all the way down. You have these endings in your toes and your fingers. So these little areas here, these long things called axons, they're as long as your arm and your legs. And obviously, if you're Shaquille O'Neal, they're a lot longer than if you're 5 foot tall. Okay, so using these pictures, do you think all cells have the same shape? Which would be no, kind of obvious. And then, why do cells have different shapes? Why do you think cells are not all the same shape? Well, if you think it's related to the job they do, you would be correct. So this one is a computer-generated picture of a brain cell. Its job is to process information, receive information. This is all these little fibers here. That's how the brain cell receives information. And then this is how it sends its thoughts out to where they need to go. So this is why if you feel hungry or you feel tired, or why a car comes speeding towards you when you can jump out of the way in time. So that's responsible for brain processes. This is a red blood cell. It's basically a balloon filled with hemoglobin protein that carries oxygen. Each red blood cell carries about 4 million oxygen molecules. And it travels through this round thing, which is a blood vessel. So this is a long, skinny fiber. This is a short, kind of little fat balloon. These are cells in your eyes. This fat cell here, this is how you see color. This right here, this is a cell that sees color. And then these long, skinny ones, these are cells that see black, white, and gray. Believe it or not, some people are born with these color cells being damaged, and they are called colorblind. And we'll learn about color blindness later. So not all cells have the same size. They don't all have the same shape because they do not all have the same function. So they hypothesize why cells have different shapes. The answer to that is because they have different jobs. Okay, so function, remember, function and job mean the same thing. All right, that takes care of these notes.